dropped something, but it's the tag.
We're going to call this meeting to order. It is 4:01. Trustee Reyes, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to September 14th, 2023. Pursuant to Board Policy 2350, any person may speak to the Board of Trustees either on an agenda item or on other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board and before any Board action is taken. Comments must be limited to 3 minutes per speaker and 20 minutes on the same or substantially similar topic, unless a majority of the Board votes to extend the time limit. As a matter of policy, members of the Board may not discuss or respond to matters raised during public comment unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion or action in open session. If you have questions about access or if you require accommodation to participate in the public meeting, please contact the Chancellor's office as far in advance of the Board meeting as possible. The phone number for that is 909-388-6902. At this time, we're going to move to Section 2, which is a presentation on our health benefit offering overview. And I would like to ask the Chancellor to introduce the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. For our first agenda item is indeed a presentation on the health benefits that the district offers. Vice Chancellor Hannon and her team will be presenting an overview of the current budget, or excuse me, the current benefits that the district offers to employees. So, Ms. Hannon?
Thank you. I'm told that people in the back can't hear us. Please let me know if you can hear on the mic. Is that good? Louder? Okay. So I am here happy to introduce Janae Jacoby. She works in our office, our area.
Roger, can we adjust the speakers, please, or the volume so that the folks towards the back of the room can hear? Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Jacoby to talk about our employee health benefits, and then we will be available for any questions from the board. Thank you.
All right, hopefully everyone can hear me okay. I'm sorry, I can't see behind me, so just let me know if you need me to speak louder. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Janae Jacoby, and I've had the pleasure of serving the district and its employees for the last 5 years as a member of the Human Resources Department. I'm here today to provide some information on the health benefits that the district provides to employees. There we go. I'd first like to discuss the full-time health benefits for the 23-24 plan year. As we were going into renewals for the upcoming plan year, we were aware that this year might see higher than average increases for the cost of insurance. Several factors contribute to the increase that an insurance company provides each year, such as high medical claims, inflation, high utilization, or volatility in the plan. Prior to the pandemic, changes in the cost of medical care were relatively mild and predictable. In fact, the district was receiving below-trend increases for the past several years. On the displayed chart on the screen, the gray line represents the medical trend across all industries, and the blue line shows where the district fell, and it has been below for several years. Over the past 3 years, the medical costs and claims have fluctuated, causing an overall trend to rise. This has caused underwriters for insurance companies to issue increases that are higher than we have had in the last several years. This was seen across multiple carriers and not unique to the district's carriers, plans, nor was it the cause of the district's broker. The district received an overall increase of approximately 9% for the medical plans for the 23-24 plan year. It is common with such high increases for employers to make changes to the plan designs to help mitigate the costs. Examples of this can be to raise copays, deductibles, and overall change the plan design. Alternatively, some employers shift the cost of the increase onto employees. However, the district agreed to absorb the full increase for the plan year and to not make any changes to plan designs to lower our increase. Furthermore, the district also negotiated to buy down 2 of the medical plan premiums to lessen the monthly cost for employees, something that the district has not done in the past. I would like to speak to some of the misinformation that has been shared regarding steep increases to the plans and employee rates. Due to the district incurring the full increase as well as buying down a few of the plans, several employees saw no increase or minimal increases to their medical premiums for the 23-24 plan year. Additionally, we are proud to be a district that still offers a no-cost medical, dental, and vision plan to our benefit-eligible employees. I would like to highlight some of the financial information as it pertains to our full-time health benefits. The district paid approximately $9.6 million for health benefits during the 22-23 plan year. And the 9% increase that the district is incurring will cost the district an additional $888,000 approximately. I'd like to explain the district's funding methodology for benefits as it has been negotiated between all bargaining units. The district fully funds the lowest cost medical, dental, and vision plan and contributes the same amount towards all other available plans. The chart on the screen shows the current employee monthly premiums, or the amount that comes out of their check, the premiums as they were upon renewal, and the finalized premiums for the 23-24 plan year. As you can see on the chart, the Anthem Select HMO remains a no-cost plan option for our employees. The Anthem Full Network HMO increased for the 23-24 plan year from $86 to $93. However, the district negotiated to buy down the premium so that the employees would receive a 0% increase. The Kaiser 30 plan was set to increase from $90 to $190. However, the district also negotiated to buy that plan down to have only an $11 increase, bringing it to $101 for the 23-24 plan year. The district has never bought down 2 of the medical plans, and for the upcoming year, this was offered as a means to help support our employees. The cost the district incurred to buy down the Anthem Full Network, HMO, and the Kaiser 30, which are 2 of the highest utilized medical plans, is approximately $176,000. This amount is included in the previously provided amount that I gave you of around $882,000. Which indicated the increase that the district was receiving for the 23-24 plan year. I'd also like to clarify that the same benefit plans and same rates are provided to all benefit-eligible employees, including the chancellor and executive leadership. It is important to mention that the district health plans are above average when compared to other districts and employer plans. The most common copay for an HMO medical plan is $15 and $20 to $30 for PPO plans. The copay for the majority of the district's plans for primary care is $10. Most employer plans have a copay of anywhere between $100 to $500 for semi-private room and board, which is hospitalization. All but one of our plans covers semi-private room and board at 100%, which means members pay nothing. Most of our plans also cover diagnostic testing, lab work, outpatient surgical service at 100%. The district is proud to not only offer a no-cost medical and dental and vision plan, but also a suite of plan options that have high coverage when the benefits are utilized. For part-time faculty benefits, the district hears the pleas for better benefits. I want to provide a background of what has been done for part-time faculty benefits over the past few years, where we are at presently, and where we would like to be in the near future. In 2020, the district changed Joint Power Authorities, or JPAs, from CEBA to CISC. While there were many reasons why we made this move, one of the advantages was that CISC offered a medical plan for part-time faculty that did not have any rules or requirements for funding or participation amounts. This meant that the district could offer medical for part-time faculty for the first time. As mentioned, there are several rules that carriers have for employers who offer medical plans. The district has gone out to market several times to request quotes from carriers and other JPAs for part-time faculty medical plan. The district has requested quotes from Blue Shield, Kaiser, CEBA, CISC, Aetna, CVT, and other carriers. The last time we requested quotes, several carriers would not quote such a plan due to risk, while several others did quote with rules on minimum employer contribution ranging from 50 to 75% and minimum enrollment participation between 50 and 75%. This means that the district would be required to fund this minimum for all enrolled, and that 50 to 75% of eligible part-time faculty members would have to enroll in the plan. If those numbers are not met, the carriers would not even allow the plan to move forward. That means even for those who are interested in enrolling would not be able to. With these rules, this was not something the district could provide in the past. However, the district was able to meet the requirements for the part-time faculty medical plan that was offered through SISC in 2020, and which is still offered today. The budget that was allotted for part-time faculty benefits for this current plan year, the 22-23 plan year, was $45,000. I would like to reiterate that the district does currently offer medical insurance to part-time faculty, and we currently have 7 employees enrolled in this plan year. The district sent out a survey to all part-time faculty in November of 2022 to determine if they currently have medical dental insurance, if they were satisfied with their medical dental insurance, if the medical dental plan is adequate for their family needs, and if they would be interested in enrolling in a plan offered through the district. From that survey, approximately 29% of all part-time faculty responded. The following responses pertain to the medical insurance. 74% of the respondents indicated that they currently had medical insurance, and 26% did not. Of those who did have other medical insurance, 69% indicated that the plan was adequate for their needs, and 31% indicated that it was not. 59% of faculty who have other coverage indicated that they were satisfied with their medical coverage, and 41% indicated that they were not. 73% of respondents indicated that they would be interested in enrolling in a medical plan offered through the district, and 26% indicated they would not be interested in a plan offered through the district. Now that we've discussed what has been done in the past, where are we today? The district provided $45,000 towards the cost of part-time faculty benefits for the 22-23 plan year, and the district has now allocated $150,000 for part-time faculty health benefits for the 23-24 plan year. Furthermore, the district has already committed to providing up to $275,000 towards part-time faculty insurance for the 24-25 plan year. The 2022 Budget Act, or AB 190, as most are familiar with it as, appropriated $200 million for part-time faculty health insurance as a means of incentivizing districts to expand healthcare coverage for their part-time faculty. Under this bill, districts may be eligible to receive 100% reimbursement if they meet certain criteria, which I will speak to momentarily. Districts can participate in the part-time faculty health insurance program in 2 ways. First, by meeting the criteria for 100% district reimbursement, or second, by offering faculty health insurance that does not meet that criteria, but they can still submit for 50% district reimbursement. Before elaborating on the criteria, I want to take this moment to state that the district is participating in AB 190 in option 2, the 50% reimbursement model. Shared amongst some employees that the district is not participating in AB 190 and that part-time faculty are not currently offered any health benefits, and I want to clarify that both are inaccurate. The district was and is still committed to being transparent in negotiations regarding the barriers and struggles that were present in order to meet the 100% reimbursement model in the short time frame since the bill was announced. However, the information that is being shared in negotiations may not always make its way to all employees, so I'm happy to be able to provide this information today for all. Districts can receive reimbursement for up to $100,000 or 100% of total cost of health insurance provided to part-time faculty, multi-district part-time faculty, and their dependents if the following requirements are met. Districts must offer health insurance coverage to all eligible part-time faculty, and eligible part-time faculty is defined by Ed Code as 40% FTE or greater. We must offer part-time faculty the same health insurance benefits provided to full-time faculty. It limits individual premiums paid by part-time faculty to more than the actual individual premium paid by the full-time faculty. And we must offer health insurance coverage through a reimbursement plan to all eligible multi-district part-time faculty who purchase health insurance outside of the district. Districts that do not meet all of the above criteria but still offer health benefits to eligible part-time faculty are able to participate in AB 190 in the 50% reimbursement model, of which the district is participating in. In January of this year, the district asked Larry Strong, Director of Fiscal Services, to attend negotiations to speak about the fiscal challenges of this program. Then in February of this year, the district asked our benefits broker to attend negotiations to speak to the carrier rules and requirements for health plans, two vital pieces to the district's ability to participate in this program. Some of the fiscal, carrier, and administrative challenges that were communicated include the state budget forecasted a $22.5 billion deficit, which raises concerns about the availability for the state to fund these programs. In fact, the state recently rescinded $1.1 billion in state funding to build affordable student housing across 19 campuses, funds that were promised up front and were subsequently pulled in order to address California's budget deficit. Districts are not provided funds up front. Districts must incur the cost and wait for potential reimbursement several months after the year has concluded. In any year where funds provided in the state budget are insufficient to cover the total cost of all claims submitted, each district receives a proportionate share of available funds. Districts are not guaranteed 100% reimbursement or even 50% reimbursement, and is dependent on district participation across the state. As mentioned, the district reimbursement is issued after the year has finished. With our current participation in AB 190, we submitted for reimbursement for the fiscal year 22-23, which ended in June. We are not expected to receive, nor do we know the exact amount that may be reimbursed until February of 2024. The district is funded on student enrollment, and the average decline in the CCC system is reported at 16%. And the hold harmless emergency allowance protections go away after fiscal year 24-25, so all districts are working to maximize FTES. The bill was passed with little to no conversation with districts, carriers, and administrators on the feasibility of the program and its requirements. The state chancellor's office and many districts were left scrambling to interpret the bill and determine how it can be implemented with current carrier rules and in a way that doesn't pose significant risk. Some of the challenges that districts are faced with include complying with carrier rules for minimum funding and participation, which impact whether a plan can be offered or maintained by a district. Administrative support to manage the increased workload of expanding benefits, along with the inevitable fluctuation that happens with part-time faculty enrollment. If 40% FTE is not maintained by the faculty member, there may be potential for constant fluctuation in enrollment, which drives up costs for the medical plans. To determine if a part-time faculty member meets 40% FTE between multiple districts, it would be the district's responsibility to verify employment and course load for each district, for each part-time faculty member at each district they work for. This would need to be done every semester. The district would also need to establish a process to verify the cost share that we would need to reimburse part-time faculty who individually purchase health insurance and decline enrollment in our plans. This is one of the requirements for the 100% reimbursement model. With regard to the requirement that we must offer the same plans offered to full-time faculty, our current carrier has a 100% participation requirement. This is achieved because the district pays an opt-out fee for full-time employees who opt out of the medical plan. This means that for this year, we would have had to pay a penalty for each part-time faculty member that did not choose to enroll in our plans, in addition to the cost of providing insurance for those who did. There are additional costs associated with this program that are not eligible for reimbursement, including the administrative costs, increased costs for required tax forms, COBRA eligibility tracking and required forms, and any premiums paid toward part-time faculty who didn't maintain the 40% FTE who were not dropped timely. For these reasons, it was not feasible to participate in the 100% reimbursement model this year. However, I would like to reiterate that we are participating in AB 190 in the 50% reimbursement option with the current part-time faculty health plan. Providing adequate health insurance to part-time faculty is so important. We need the state's support, but the plan they provided is not a good plan. While it is impossible to estimate the exact cost of participating in the 100% reimbursement plan because it would be dependent on how many people would actually enroll and how many employees meet 40% FTE amongst the multiple districts, I can provide some broad estimates. If the district provided the same health plan offerings to current part-time faculty who are equal or greater than 40% FTE, it would be approximately $5.9 million. This is based on the count of 380 part-time faculty that meet that 40% threshold currently. Since it is unknown how many of those who are less than 40% FTE at our district might meet that 40% requirement amongst multiple districts, the next number of $13.1 million is the cost should every part-time faculty member be covered by the district health plan. And this was based on an account of 840 part-time faculty. So our estimates are anywhere between $5.9 and $13.1 million for this program. This is the amount the district would have to fund upfront with no guarantee of 100% reimbursement or even 50% reimbursement. And if reimbursement is provided, it is 9 months after the end of the fiscal year. Districts must have these funds first to offer the plan. It is not as simple as free money from the state that is provided to us in advance. This is a significant concern for several community colleges and districts that I've spoken to, including SBCCD. As for the future, I'd like to share some of the ways the district is committed to improving the health benefit options for part-time faculty. It is agreed between many districts in California that it's not a matter of will we expand the benefit options for part-time faculty members, it's a matter of how we can make it work and when. Because of this, the State Chancellor's Office committed to put a team together of subject matter experts all over the state to review how we can make this bill more feasible for districts. This committee is formed for the purpose of assessing options and making a recommendation regarding broker and plan administrator services for a statewide part-time faculty health insurance pool affecting California community college system. I'm happy to say that I am serving on this committee and hope that the work that we are doing that a plan can be established for part-time faculty that was thoroughly thought through with conversations with key stakeholders on what it takes to implement and maintain a successful and ongoing program. The district is also committed to requesting quotes for the 24-25 plan year to ensure we are reviewing all options. Furthermore, I have contacted the executives for our current JPA to continue the conversations on part-time faculty benefits. They, like all other carriers, are trying to determine how AB 190 can be successful with the current requirements and considering carrier rules. As of last month, they have informed me that they are willing to provide new options for the 23-24 plan year to help us improve the health insurance options for part-time faculty, which may include waiving certain rules that all other carriers require. Lastly, the district has committed to increasing the funding for part-time faculty health benefits from $150,000 to $275,000 for the 24-25 plan year. Much of the information that is being shared regarding the district's health benefits and participation in AB 190 is not only inaccurate, but contradicts the discussions that we are having at the table. We have been working with the negotiations team on current solutions and also long-term solutions, including our ability to participate in AB 190 to the fullest extent possible. To summarize some of the information that was presented today, the district is contributing more toward full-time medical plans and employee premiums than ever before. The full-time medical plan designs are above average and keep employee costs low when benefits are utilized. For the 23-24 plan year, the district is contributing 333% more toward part-time faculty medical benefits than in the 22-23 plan year. For the 24-25 plan year, the district has already agreed to increase part-time faculty funding for medical by an additional 183%, which is 611% increase from current. The district has estimated the cost to offer part-time faculty the same medical plans to be between $5.9 and $13.1 million. And lastly, the district is currently offering medical insurance to part-time faculty and is currently participating in AB 190. I know I can speak for the district when I say we truly understand the importance of health insurance for all. I am hopeful that we will get to a place where we can provide more comprehensive benefit options for our part-time faculty. And if employees ever have any questions about the health benefits currently offered through the district, I'm always available and willing to assist. Thank you for your time.
Okay, at this time, do we have any questions from our trustees? Or was there more? I'm sorry that you wanted, okay. Questions? Trustee Bearso?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions. Janae, thank you for serving on the state board to look into this. I'm always impressed with how many things that we are in the lead on or represented in, because that means that we're going to get what we need because we're at the table. So thank you for your work there. It's concerning to me that we want to come to some sort of a decision before the state chancellor's office comes to some sort of an idea of how they're going to move forward. And it's concerning to me on how this is going to all be paid for. Is there a guarantee from the state that we're going to get 100% reimbursement? I'm hearing you say no, there isn't.
No, there is no guarantee that the districts will receive 100% reimbursement or even 50% reimbursement.
And you talked about penalties. We had to pay penalties. Am I using the right word for penalties?
Yes.
For the non-participative part-time faculty.
Correct.
So we polled faculty, 200 some odd participated, 75 of them said that they might be interested in looking into a new plan through the district. So 25% didn't. So extrapolating that up to the 800 some odd part-time faculty, we'd be paying penalties on 300 people.
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know what the financial implication of that is?
So when we factored in the cost of the plan, we factored in 100% participation, considering what that penalty was. So that
okay.
amount that I shared is inclusive of that penalty.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Williams?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
First, thank you for the 200 million. Is that being
Administered through them. They're providing us with some guidance on the rules, but it is not administered through them, and there's no centralization of these funds.
so if we wanted to advocate, because it seems like it's cumbersome, like, do we have the staffing to administer the program if we were to?
We currently do not have the staffing, and in fact, several other community colleges and districts I've spoken to have already had to increase the staffing to participating in the 100%, but are trying to make the plan that they are offering more robust. They've had to hire additional staff to maintain it.
So Chancellor, like, are there any advocacy opportunities if we needed more? It sounds like we need more flexibility to access to dollars, because it seems like the hesitation is if we do this and then we don't get the full reimbursement. I'm still not clear of who covers. So if we get 40% reimbursement, who picks up the rest? How does that work, and how does that impact the district? And then who do we go and talk to about, hey, can you make this more flexible so that we can administer the program in a way that works for what we're trying to accomplish?
Sure, and that's part of the issue, right, is that the legislation is not clear on where the responsibility lies for who's going to administer and who isn't going to administer. So one of the things that, if this board is approved to make this a legislative priority, is that we will start the conversations with our elected officials and also continue the conversations that I've had with our statewide chancellor's office in making this more clear, or better yet, provide us the dollars up front so that we know how much money we have to work with in order to provide better benefits for all of our employees. So there is different levels of advocacy that we can take once the board takes action, if that is indeed their wish to do so.
But just so that I fully understand, because a lot of this is new to me. So we have the same benefit plans that we have last year, and one of them fully covers.
For our for our full-time employees,
Yeah.
we have the same exact medical, dental, vision plans that we had last year, and we still maintain a no-cost medical, dental, and vision plan for this upcoming plan year. Furthermore, the district did contribute more towards the premiums for 2 of the medical plans to bring down the rates for employees.
I heard that. And how does this apply to part-time?
So the part-time faculty benefits that we are currently providing are the same benefits that were provided this past year. However, the funding from the district towards the cost of the plan has increased.
Okay, thank you.
Does that mean it reduces their out-of-pocket?
Trustee Williams and then trustee Harrison.
Oh,
Trustee Harrison.
I just wanted to know what the percentage was. The increase.
The increase to the plans, so the district incurred a 9% increase to our health benefits costs for the 23-24 plan
And
year.
then of our part-timers, how many took advantage of whatever plan we have at this time?
So when employees enrolled, we are around 33 employees that are interested for this upcoming plan year in
Out
the
of-
part-time,
Out of how many?
out of about 800.
Out of 800.
And then do we know,
Trustee Williams?
and then do we know if those individuals are covered by other means is the reason why they're not taking advantage?
Potentially, it's unknown. All we can go off of is that survey that we sent out and the responses that we received from a very small, amount of our part-time faculty. But a large portion of those who did respond did indicate that they have other health insurance.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one more. Oh, I'm sorry. Trustee Gonzalez?
This is just a curiosity question. For the part-time faculty who are working in multiple districts, does every district then have to cover that employee, or is there some way that the district that has the most hours for that employee is the one who sponsors the benefits, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So for multi-district part-time faculty who choose to not participate in let's say they meet that 40% FTE between multiple districts and they choose not to enroll in our plan and they purchase their own health plan through Covered California, each district that they work for has to come up with a calculation to figure out their proportionate share that they must reimburse the part-time faculty. So every district would have to figure out what that amount looks like to reimburse that member.
Trustee Williams?
So it's not possible to aggregate all of those folks into like a JPA and just have a health plan for like a region or something like that?
And that is exactly what the committee that the State Chancellor's Office put together is looking at. We are getting information. We're reaching out to brokers across the state. We're reaching out to representatives for the state to see if maybe there's a pool that all community colleges in California can go in together to offer a comprehensive health plan.
I say add the K-12 folks too, make it bigger.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was very helpful. Thank you. All right. With that, we are on to first acknowledge that all of our trustees are present at this time. So thank you for that. And we'll move on to section 3, which would be our public comments. Do we have public comments? Yes, we do. Okay. So, let me see. I've got to look and see. So is this the stack that's the same?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm going to count how many we have for the same topic, and then we can begin to do the math. Okay.
There's 10.
Are there 10?
There are 10.
Okay. So there are 10 public comments on the same or substantially similar topic. The limit is 20 minutes total, 3 minutes per speaker. So if all 10 speakers take their 3 minutes, we will run out of time at the 20-minute mark before all 10 have had their opportunity. So our attorney who's present will run for us the 20-minute timer. What you will see on the screen is the 3-minute timer that will run per speaker. But understand, if every speaker in the first, do the math, takes all 3 minutes, we will not get to all 10 speakers. So with that, our first speaker is Dr. Judy White.
As well as I count it a pleasure to be able to speak to you for a few minutes. And I'm a longtime resident of San Bernardino and the Empire, but I also have been a teacher and a principal and an assistant superintendent and a deputy superintendent and local superintendent of Riverside County. And I mentioned those roles only because of the fact that I have experience with unions and looking at benefits. And I want to say, though, that when I looked at the board, when I saw the video of the meeting, that my heart went out because I'm hoping that we will use this time to also unify. I want you to know that as a community member, I have appreciated San Bernardino Community College District immensely. And I also want to speak the truth about finding solutions. So as the speakers come, I wanted to set the stage. I wanted to be able to say, unified in our approach. There was a young person, and right now everybody's younger than I am, but there was a young person that was talking about the meeting, and I heard them say, we have to strategize about how we're going to present. And my thought to you is strategize also about how you can unify. Strategize about disaggregating the presentations, finding the truth, and respectably respond. Many of our signs say respect. This is what I want to see at the meetings. I want to be able to see professional decorum. I want to be able to see that we're listening to each other, not just giving information. I want us to move forward this night as one, determined to be respectful, truthful, fair, and valuing our humanity within our roles. I want us to recover by beginning with the truth with a commitment to heal. I am praying this for our district. I also want you to know that I hope that as we sit and listen, that every speaker remembers that we are all human, that we all need respect. It goes two ways. And that we have to also look at and listen and remember what the presentation said. There was a lot of information that was given in the presentation that I have not read in some of the information that's been disseminated in the community. But I do appreciate you, your hard work. And so what am I standing here for? For respect, but also professional decorum as people share their thoughts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, my mic was off. Thank you. Next speaker is Caleb Castaneda.
Good evening, thank you. And I also want to share her sentiments that I do appreciate the work that you're doing. It's not easy being a trustee. I was a trustee a while back for a high school district, and I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. But I will say this. I'll tell you who I work with first. I'm with the CCA. So my district is District F, which covers Copper Mountain, Victor Valley, San Bernardino, and Barstow. And you are surrounded by districts, and I understand it's complicated, but you're surrounded by districts that are doing it better than you are. I hate to say that, but it's true. Of course, Riverside has had part-time health care for a long time, so they don't count. You're in a lot of ways similar to, say, Victor Valley and Chaffey College, who are getting new programs, but they figured out how to do it. Is it perfect? No. But they're doing Chaffey. They'll give you $600 per semester. Doesn't sound like a lot, but keep in mind, I can go on the Covered California Exchange, and I can get a $100 plan, and that buys me a pretty good plan. Your plan's not pretty good. That's why 7 people signed up for it, because it has a $5,000 deductible. Who wants that? And then After you've spent $5,000, then they start paying coverage. That's why no one's signing up. That's nothing. That's like not having health care. Victor Valley, they never offered part-time health care before, and what are they doing? They're giving you a choice. You can either sign on to their plan, or they'll give you up to $3,500 per semester towards your ACA Cover California exchange. You're not going to need $3,500. So whichever is greater. So even though it's only 50%, really 100% of my premiums, because I teach at Victor Valley, are going to be paid. It's not that hard. We can figure it out. Please do the right thing by your employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Dashiell Johnson.
It's actually Jeffrey Johnson.
Good evening. My name's Dashiell Johnson, and I'm the Executive Director of AFT Local 6106. We represent part-time faculty in the North Orange County. In May of this year, our district agreed to provide part-time faculty with the same healthcare benefits as full-time faculty. Thanks to the, yeah, it's worth clapping for. It's a big deal. Yeah. Thanks to the governor's new budget that includes $200 million of ongoing funding and a new law that changed the Ed Code, AB 190, community college districts will get reimbursed 100% of the cost with healthcare. This funding level, and HR with respect left this detail out of their presentation. I'll repeat, this funding level is more than sufficient to provide healthcare. For example, only $22 million, that's 11% of this funding, was used last year. I helped pass this bill during a lobby day, and we cost out how much providing part-time faculty healthcare would be, and it's well below $200 million. And we worked really hard to draft that legislation, and we worked hard to get it in place. So the characterization that it's not a good law, it's not a good program, isn't accurate. Furthermore, the North Orange County Community College District and 11 other districts from across the state, right thing by providing faculty. And that's full coverage. They're getting reimbursed 100% of the cost. We urge you to do the same. Please do the right thing. AFT Local 6106 stands in solidarity with the San Bernardino College Community College District Teachers Association, CTA, NEA. Also, our chancellor said he would talk to other districts about this program and how HR's presentation, it sounds like our district was not contacted and has not run into the challenges that were outlined. So please, I hope you do the right thing. 100% of the cost will be reimbursed for those healthcare policies. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker is Keith Benitez. Keith Benitez, thank you.
Hello. I'm Keith Benitez. I'm here on behalf of the Youth Advisory Board, talking about the healthcare. I don't know much because I'm not in college at the moment, but my brother is. He's in middle college right now, and what we've seen with him is he usually excels in school. He's like one of the highest learners I've known, but without teachers, he's had nobody consistently hit this entire school year. The school year's been going on for 2 months. He's had sub after sub after sub after sub. Not to mention, I have another brother who's going to be going to college in the next few months, which is also concerning. I'm their oldest sister. I worry about them. Our mother is in and out of the hospital all the time. I'm stressed. And to know that this is possibly the reason that teachers aren't going to be at school, that my brothers aren't getting the adequate teaching and learning they need, it's concerning. to school because I'm constantly having to work. I'm at a vocational school to get a better job because my mom might lose her job because her health is deteriorating. I don't mean to get very upset, but I'm very passionate about my siblings learning, and I'm very passionate about teachers and healthcare because I wanted to be a teacher before everything went down the hill with my mom. I wanted to be a teacher, and to know that they're being treated this way is very heartbreaking. And I still want to go into that career field, possibly someday, but not anytime soon. Going on in my family and everything going on in life at the moment. So I would really appreciate if we can take these bills into consideration and start working on possibly 100% reimbursement, 100% healthcare, 100% just making sure they are given the equal amount of treatment as full-time. Because we all start somewhere. We can go to full-time later on. I'm trying to get a full-time job. We all begin somewhere, we all end somewhere. It's better we just treat them all equally at the moment. And since I only have like 30 seconds left, I wanted to also bring up housing in Valley College. There's none. Just letting you all know that. Okay, thank you, bye.
Thank you. Next speaker is Richard Jaramillo. Pass? Is that what I pass? Okay. Next is. Thank you. It's all caps.
Thank you for your time, Board. I would like to start by saying, I would like to remind the Board that both the Brown Act and your Board policy does allow for you to vote to extend the time if you did want to hear all of the public comments. I traveled a ways to be here and was a little concerned that I might not get a chance to speak. So my name is Jennifer Florkey. I'm a full-time faculty. I teach in communication studies for Bernardino Valley College. I'm also the full-time faculty rep there for the Riverside Community College District. Our district is standing here in solidarity with our colleagues here at San Bernardino Community College District Faculty Association. So I kind of changed up a little bit with that presentation. I want to point out that faculty healthcare at the Riverside Community College District, but even before going into negotiations, we pay 66% of part-time healthcare presently. As we heard from our North Orange County brother here, there are 11 colleges and districts. So we have Cuesta Community College District has already completed the MOU for full-time coverage, along with Glendale Community College District, Grossmont Cuyamaca, LA Community College District, the largest district in our California community college system, Los Rios, North Orange County, as we heard, Palomar, San Diego Community College District, San Francisco, Southwestern, West Valley Mission. So all due respect, but you're not really the leaders in this effort. All right, so I wanted to speak quickly because I was also a part-time faculty at Crafton Hills College from 2005 to 2013 before I got hired full-time at Bernardino Valley College. And it was really difficult, right? Like now I've been Senate President, I've been District Senate President, I've been on the Faculty Association, so I understand numbers. I understand turning students into FTES. I understand the SCIF very well. And it really bothers me when we hear these reports, turning students into numbers. Because as a part-time faculty, I was in a classroom with students, and we know the population we serve. They have several part-time jobs sometimes. They are single parents. They have to really stay motivated to get their education, complete their education. And I had to stand there and say, get an education, it will increase your opportunities for high-paying jobs, healthcare, job security, life security, unless you choose what I chose. Because having a master's degree, I had no healthcare, right? So I'm telling them, it made me a hypocrite. Get your education, it'll help you. I'll end it. Thank you. See you next month.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna, next speaker, I'm gonna queue up the next two so we can move a little faster here. So the next speaker is Randa Wabi, and then following that, so be ready in the first row there, Jeffrey Johnson. So right now, Randa Wabi.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Renda Wabi, and I am full-time faculty in the North Orange County Community College District. I also serve as the Vice President for the Community College Association, the higher ed affiliate of the California Teachers Association, of which the San Bernardino Community College District Teachers Association is a part. I am here today because I am appalled that the San Bernardino Community College District has refused to participate in the part-time health benefits program despite the ongoing allocation of $200 million in the California budget. Governor Newsom respects the value of part-time faculty, which is why he allocated an ongoing $200 million to cover the costs to reimburse districts like the San Bernardino Community College District 100% of the costs for providing health care to their part-time faculty. Faculty who make up the backbone of the California community colleges and upon which the San Bernardino Community College District relies to provide quality instruction. Why would the San Bernardino Community College District refuse to provide the most vulnerable employees access to health care at an affordable cost? $5,000 deductible is not an affordable cost. How can the governor care more for the welfare of part-time faculty than those of you here in the district working side by side with them? Earlier, we saw a long list of ostensible reasons spread across 3 slides will not participate in the 100% reimbursable part-time healthcare program. This is a deficit mindset. Please, what about the solutions? Why doesn't the San Bernardino Community College value their 800 part-time faculty? Why doesn't this district respect 800 members of their faculty? I urge you to do the right thing. Negotiate the 100% reimbursable part-time healthcare benefits. Thank you.
Up is Jeffrey Johnson. I want to just do a time check. I just want to do a time check. We have 3 speakers left.
16 seconds.
So we have a little bit less than 4 minutes for the 3 speakers. So right, okay.
Hi, my name is Jeff Johnson. I'm actually an adjunct from the Southwestern College and San Diego Community College District, 2 districts which actually have option 1, AB 91 compliant healthcare. I call it option humane. I also call it option hero for zero, because when you're actually contributing and basically doing the plan, following the fully reimbursable plans, it costs the district nothing. However, to do less costs your district more. I wonder how the taxpayers would feel when they're looking at the increasing money that you're putting into part-time health care, realizing that half of that money is being paid out from the district and being put into other things. I want you to understand, I drove up here today is because I can tell you what it's like being an adjunct with family members and being in a tough situation with insurance, because one of the things that this plan is talking about is it's talking about dependent coverage. Why aren't people taking advantage of these other plans? Well, gee, I don't know. Maybe it might happen to be that their dependents aren't covered. Let me tell you, when I got health insurance in the San Diego district, and then I actually had my wife enrolled, at that time, I was working in 3 districts and living my Wick milk and Wick cheese. When we got that insurance, a year later, my wife developed type 2 diabetes. Had we not had that insurance, and as you're very clear, if I'm qualifying for WIC, we wouldn't have been able to pay for insulin. My wife would be dead. I want you to understand, before insurance, I have an adjunct down at Southwestern College. Had abdominal pain, had to drive himself across the border and pay $10,000 out of pocket for an emergency appendectomy. He was a first-year adjunct. What's the humanity and what cost is that? I mean, to consider that. You can make this plan happen, all right? It's actually $20.66 million was paid out. And if you want, you can email me. You can talk to people afterwards. I will send you the specific numbers to show. And I'm listening to the numbers back here, the inflated numbers made by management, And it reminds me of a cat dealing with a dog, basically raising its back up with the numbers to make up stuff. Oh yeah, you increased healthcare by 333%. Well, if that's 3 pennies, that's now 9 pennies. All right, you have to do better. And by the way, the other thing I was also going to tell you is this: they talk about the money you have to pay for upfront costs. Guess what? San Diego, San Francisco, both managed to go ahead and do it, and they have significantly lower reserves than you. You can make it happen. You can do it. Make it happen. Thank you.
Okay. Two speakers left. At this point, we have, I'm going to guess, somewhere around 2 minutes. About 2 minutes left, 2 speakers. So we have Joel Murphy is up next, and following Joel will be Daniel Jivanji. Anyway, so Joel Murphy, remember 2 minutes total is what we have total.
Right,
So,
I'll be
okay.
brief. Thank you for all the good work you've done, good decisions, free textbooks, the free tuition or fees, that's great. But we got a problem with the, faculty. We bring in 60, 70% of the money into this district. So please, find a way to get this part-time deal to work. And then also, I'm a full-time faculty member now, but I have to pay a lot of out-of-pocket. Delta Dental, I really don't consider it insurance. I think it's co-insurance. I paid $2,000 out of pocket last year. And what else? The other part, negotiations. You know about inflation. You know how it's affected us. It's really affecting a lot of the full-time faculty. So I would say, please, negotiate in good faith. And it's not a raise. It's about inflation. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay,
Madam Chair, I would move that we extend the time for the last speaker to be able to have 3 minutes.
we have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second. Is there any opposition to that extension? Okay, last speaker. I'm hearing no opposition. Okay. So last speaker is going to be Daniel Jivanji. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Hello, welcome board, welcome community in general. My name is Daniel Jivanji, and I'm a community member of San Bernardino. I've been here pretty much all my life except for college and working in a few different places in SoCal. I'm a marketing technologist by trade, and today I came to share with you some notes on an important topic. And this issue is of great importance, and it's called the Airport Gateway Specific Plan. I'm not sure how much information you have heard about this, but today I'll give you a high-level overview of some facts on this project, some of my personal notes, and some high-level recommendations as to what the board might want to do with this. So in regards to high-level details on this project, it covers about 600 acres, which is roughly 1 square mile in San Bernardino and Highland, from 3rd Street to 6th Street, from Tippecanoe all the way to the 210. So it's a giant rectangle. And that land is it's looking into being redeveloped into warehouses. Within the development zone, there are 2,300 plus residents, which will need to be relocated. At the moment, which is a big problem. Very low income and will have challenges if they lose their home. So those are kind of some of the high-level details on that. The state attorney general has put some notes out on this project saying that there's a lot of racial discrimination in housing and state federal laws that are being violated, and that could be checked out online. Some of my notes on this topic, I feel like the way that the development is going will disproportionately affect the minority community living in that development zone. And it's also going to bring a heavy focus on the logistics industry. My criticism is that it's looking to bring 5,000 jobs, but those jobs are not going to last over time, and they're very low paying. So basically, my asks are for the community college board to reach out to the IVDA and member constituent cities that are in this development zone to advocate for broader economic development, making sure that community college students, area university students, when they graduate, there are good jobs, high-paying jobs to go to. Secondly, I would like to advocate for, any alumni or people living in that area, students. We want to make sure that we're looking out for the people that need to be relocated, so that way they land on their feet and it's not like some student that loses their house and then they had to move to who knows where. So those are my high-level notes on that topic, and kind of like going, if you're an employer, you want to retain the best talent. You want to make sure that your talent and staff are well accommodated.
Your turn is complete.
Here, our next speaker, Mary Valdemar.
I'm glad you caught that, because I was about to do point of order. It's really interesting to hear the presentation about we don't want to risk front-load costs. As someone who's been here for a couple of decades, and I'm Mary Valdemar, classified staff. I work in the library at Valley College, but also a student alumni, student government alumni. Been here quite a while watching this work and the decisions made by this board. Today, we're going to have a budget presentation, and I'm going to speak under the hearing of budget as well. But I'm going to ask you to look really closely at some of the columns and remember this conversation that's happening right now under public comment, particularly the columns here at DSO, because all the costs for DSO. The funding that feeds, the majority of our budget comes from the colleges, Valley and Crafton. And I've been here long enough where I remember we didn't have such a robust DSO, and we still got the job done. And so when we talk about front-loading costs, I think we have to take a closer look at our budget and look at where we're front-loading, where we have been front-loading for over a decade, some things that are not contributing. I also ask you to look at the column that says annual excess deficit. And you'll see that, especially the cost of the DSO might cost, $27 million. And then automatically, that's what comes off the top, $27 million. So the deficit is zero. And we do that, very creative budgeting because we have some things that we have to do at the district level. But my guess is not all of those. And when I hear that a survey says 41% of our folks are not satisfied with the health benefits, we're supposed to be data-driven, right? The accreditation, the educational master plan, the student equity plan, all these plans are supposed to be based on the data of our stakeholders and our community. And we're talking about not enough staffing to process this healthcare benefits, then we have to look at, who are the people who are directly students? The majority of our money. And even as I look at the budget and I look at the FTS doesn't reflect, the fact that a majority of our faculty are adjunct faculty. And that they are making the FTS that is paying all the bills around here, especially this room. And so I'd ask us to look at that closer. I also want you to remember back to COVID, when we were told to trust the intent of the state, trust the intent of the district, trust the commitment of everybody that we're going to get through this together. Trust that the district would do the right thing about the money that came from the KVCR signal sale. Trust that we're going to do the right thing about bond money. When we hire more and more managers, you're asking us to trust you. Well, now we're asking you to trust also. We're asking you to trust that this healthcare is imperative for the people who directly serve students. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last public comment is Richard Jaramillo. Richard Jaramillo. Richard Jaramillo. Oh, you're going to do it. Okay, I understand. Apologies. It was on the form. Okay. Well, this concludes our public comment. And at this time, we're going to move in section 4 right now. And this is approval of the minutes of the August 10th, 2023 meeting. So I look for a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call a roll call vote. So student trustee Lee.
Aye.
Student trustee Ruiz Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison. Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Virsel.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Next, we are on to section 5, which is recognition and celebrations. So if we can have staff display the applause, please, and we'll recognize and applause recipients for extending extra effort to provide quality service and value assistance. For that. Our next celebration is in the category of retirements, and I'll turn it over to the Chancellor to report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 3 retirements on our agenda today. Lori Blecka from mathematics at Valley College. Lawrence Cook, I think most of us know him as Larry, at the facilities department at Crafton Hills College. And Yolanda Simatel from the nursing department at San Bernardino Valley College. I've gotten the pleasure to know and at least talk with each of these individuals over my time here at the district. These are 3 phenomenal individuals that are just so incredibly caring of not only the institution, but more specifically of our students. They have a combined career at SBCCD with almost 60 years, and they are going to be truly, truly missed. So I think we should give them another round of applause. Thank you.
And, the longevity of our teams and the commitment and the dedication that they have to our students and the success is evident through the tenure that you see before you. Next, we're going to move on to our action agenda. And with that, we have as agenda item A, the revised 2023 legislative budget advocacy priorities to include improve state funding model for part-time faculty health insurance. So I will look for a motion and a second.
So moved.
We have a motion from Trustee Gonzalez. We have a second from Trustee Reyes. Any discussion? Trustee Williams.
Yeah, I'd like to just say I'm supportive of this, and I'd like to see like a timeline and just like what is the action going to be, like when are we going to start advocating, like what are the steps that are going to be taken, and then hopefully the folks that come to these meetings can bring their passion into the advocacy that needs to happen at the state level. And so like how will external stakeholders be included, and like let's get a crunch timeline and get to doing whatever it is that we're gonna do, because it's great that we're putting it on here, but like I would like to really see what is the action going to be, and then be able to communicate that out, so that way if we're gonna have roles in this, like each of us know stakeholders could have roles in it, and then we see what happens and move forward.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, then I will go to the roll call vote. So student trustee Lee.
Aye.
Student trustee Ruiz Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison. Aye. Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes.
Aye.
Trustee Virsel.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Next, we're on to item B, which is a public hearing on the final budget, 2023-2024 final budget. So pursuant to Title V, Section 58301, I would like to open a public hearing on the final budget for fiscal year 23-24. And we do have some public comment, so I'll bring up, oh, I guess we're in the hearing now. So I will call up Mary Valdemar to provide public comment.
The question, but I'll just ask a couple things to look at. On page, and this is just a sample of it, but on page 51 of the budget, it looks at the budget detail by fund, and it's a total of all funds. And one of the things we look at every year is some bloating that happens in the, future budget. And this always happens in the same. I want to highlight this to you. Under expenditures, where it says other expenses and services, and we see the definition early on in the budget about what's included in that, but we know what's included in that, which is consultants and, purchases for contract services. And as classified employees and other employees here in the district, we see that abused a lot and inflated a lot. So just on this one page, it starts out the actuals in 2020-21 as $30 million, a little bit over 30 million. In 21-22, it goes to 49 million. In 22-23, it goes to 40 million. And then in 23-24, it goes to $105 million. And I went through the budget on several of these detailed funds and highlighted every time expenses and services got bloated by double or triple or more. And this is a problem because we were talking about earlier, healthcare, we know the history about some of the services that were purchased for the district that didn't work out so well, right? Payroll services, software, things where we spent hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars over the period of the last 5 to 10 years, and they didn't work for us. And there's never any accountability about that. Those decisions are made outside of any collegial consultation with them. And nobody is ever accountable for the wasted money that is put in those directions and the lack of successful outcome that we have, especially as employees. I'm a secretary that has to work with the purchasing system, with the payroll system, with the room location system, and more often than not, these systems do not work. So when we're talking about, finding money to cover things like healthcare, to cover things that are basic, I'm asking you to look at this budget more closely and look for those inflated numbers, particularly under contract services, and try to push back on that and make sure our money is going where we really need it. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, there are no more public comments, so I will close the hearing. And we will go on to item C, which is the 2023-24 final budget. So I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion to approve. Trustee Reyes, do we have a second? Second by Trustee Harrison. Any discussion? Trustee Williams.
So, I don't attend the finance committee and I missed the strategy session. And so just when the DSO raises money, because I know there has been a lot of staff effort in raising money, is there a reason it's not categorized in the revenue section under the DSO? Is it because the money's for the campus, or why don't the DSO get credit for the money it raises?
So all of our revenues are categorized in the same type of revenues that are coming in. So for example, I'll give you an example. Last year, we received $15 million from the state for KVCR. Yeah. That is categorized in the restricted revenue because it's restricted for KVCR. So it depends on the type of revenue that is generated. Everything is recorded in the appropriate fund that is supposed to go. If Valley or Crafton fundraise money for the respective college, then it's recorded at the respective college.
And so I want to keep driving the point of local revenue and reducing our dependency on the state. I've talked about Arizona State a lot. Their state allocation is $900 million. They have a public enterprise model. They make their own money. And, I really want to see, I would like to have an agenda item where we can discuss, what are the possibilities? How do we raise more local unrestricted dollars? And I'm not talking about grants. I'm talking about us doing business, whether it be our printing services, whatever it is that we can do. We need a strategy, because as long as we're dependent on the state, we're still going to have to ask for permission, and then there are going to be a whole bunch of things that we just can't do. And, I've talked about this a lot. The president at Arizona State has, talked to Chair Houston and I, and we have to figure out how to increase local revenues. In New Jersey, they're freeholders, which is equivalent to our Board of Supervisors. They fund the community colleges out of their general fund. And so if you think about the economic development arm of the county and like what kind of services can we offer to the county when they're attracting businesses to where we can generate revenue for ourselves. We need a strategy, y'all. We cannot keep being dependent on the state. I'm not saying we don't need the state's money. That's not what I'm saying at all. So don't misconstrue that. But we need some self-determination within the district, so that way we can do something like what we need to do for the part-time faculty or whatever other needs the district has. And so I haven't seen robust enough conversations about this. We have to get it figured out. And so, I'm asking for us to have a future conversation about this. I've asked this a number of times, whether we need to bring in experts or invest in some kind of situation. We need to figure that out. So, I just want to, continue to sound that point.
Thank you. Okay. Any more discussion? No. Okay, so I'll call for a roll call vote. Student trustee Lee?
Aye.
Student trustee Ruiz-Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Harrison? Trustee Longville?
Aye.
Trustee Reyes? Trustee Verso?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. We're on to D, which is Resolution 2023-09-14-FP-01, which is approving the agreement for the purchase and sale of real property at 441 West 8th Street in San Bernardino. So I'll look for a motion.
Second.
Motion to approve and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the roll call vote. Student trustee Lee?
Aye.
Student trustee Ruiz-Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Harris? Trustee Reyes? Trustee Veracel?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. We're now on to section 7, which is the consent agenda. So the consent agenda expected to be routine and non-controversial. It'll be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any member of the board, staff member, or citizen may request that an item be removed from this section for discussion. So are there any items to be pulled from the consent agenda?
D1?
D1. Any other items? Okay, hearing none, I'll look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented with the number D1 being removed for separate consideration. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, we're going to take a roll call vote, and that will be then student trustee Lee. Aye. Student trustee Ruiz-Martinez.
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez.
Aye.
Trustee Harrison.
Aye.
Trustee Longville.
Aye.
Trustee Reyes. Trustee Veracel.
Aye.
Trustee Williams.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. This time we'll take for separate consideration item number D1, which is award bid number 03-2324-3 and contract for demolition of 1888 Highland Avenue building. I'll look for a motion.
I'll move approval. Well, no, I don't even want to move approval. I want to do something
You can move
different.
approval, and then we can discuss, and then you can.
I'll move approval so that we can discuss it. Yeah.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for item number D1,
So
discussion.
this is my challenge, right? Local participation in our projects. Like, we have 3 companies on here that are all from, and I'm fine as local participation in these projects. And so we can't find a local demolition company that can tear this building down? Like, I'm really confused about, like, did any local companies bid for this?
Vice Chancellor Torres, do you mind?
Definitely. So we had a walk, a job walk for this project. We had a lot of participation. 23 vendors showed up, contractors showed up. So we really hope for a lot of participation, including local. And this afternoon, we had a local update on the CBA at the Board Finance Committee as well. Out of the 23 the vendors that participated in the walk, 9 of them submitted proposals. Out of those 9, 2 of them were local vendors, and 1 of them did not submit the appropriate documentation. The local vendor that actually submitted all the documentation ended up significantly higher than the $201,000, almost $350,000. So this is one of those programs that we bid it out and we select the lower bid as per contract code, public contract code. And that's the reason why this is this coming to you with this approval.
But does our local preference policy preclude us from going with a higher bidder because their cost might be higher here because it's not as much work as out in Orange County and, other places. So their
Right.
cost could just be higher. So I'm still not clear on like why we're not getting local folks, because I thought the preference, they got extra points. I thought we didn't have to go with the lowest bidder.
So there are different ways to manage public contract code. One of them is the lowest bid. The lowest bid is the lowest bid. That's what the law requires. We have to go with the lowest bid. There are other programs which Inez works on tremendously and we have seen significantly improvements over the past bond programs. So on those programs, what we do RFQs, requests for qualifications, or requests for proposals, et cetera, different things. And within those even pre-qualifications as well, that's where they get the additional points for local, for being even a local vendor, having a local office within the region that we describe in our BP 6610, or for hiring local hires, one of those 2. So that's when they get additional points. When it's the lowest bid, it is by law that we have to give it to the lowest bidder.
I don't understand. So I thought we didn't always have to give to the lowest bidder. I thought our local preference policy dictates that if we had a local company and you decided that you wanted to award them the contract, they didn't have to be the lowest bidder.
No, not for all. There are different ways of getting proposals.
But I'm saying, do we have the ability to not go with the lowest bidder, period?
If we bid it in a different way.
So why didn't we do that?
Because this is a very simple project for us, for the structure and the work that we do. It is a demolition, and for that we don't see the benefit of going for the different type of work, such as request for qualifications. Request for qualification is when you usually have a specialty, or you're going to build a subtype of project that requires specialty, such as a fire tower. That type of thing requires a specialty that they have the type of experience. This is a demolition project that this experience exists in different places, and we therefore we opt out. We go out for the lowest bid, which will save the district additional funds.
But again, well, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think Trustee Harrison had a comment that might help you.
I realize that we have 2 different groups, and the law applies differently to it. What is our percentage now of local hires? Because we've asked our contractors to give us feedback on that. and collected the data. So how are we doing on that?
We're actually meeting the goals, and Trustee Gonzalez is going to give you an update as well from Board Finance Committee. We reviewed that data today at Board Finance Committee.
Okay.
We did, and we are meeting the goals of the board, the 50% local hires and the 25% local businesses. We're significantly higher than that. So we are exceeding the goals that the board has set for us.
Okay. The other, just on a very personal thought, I'm in the process of building an addition and doing remodeling. And I have to tell you that there are certain kinds of work where I cannot find a local person go out of my area, and I'm one of the people who was a definite advocate for all of this, right? And so it hurts me that I cannot find a local person to do this particular job. I have to go out of my area. So I understand the challenges of that, and I understand that we have done a lot of work, but I think the board did not realize the distinction on the funding. Done an outstanding job, but there's another section, right, where we have to go with the lowest bid.
We do.
So I think we have not, in our minds, distinguished that.
But I thought, so she's talking about UCAP, like contracts under a certain dollar amount. I thought the policy just applies, period, in the district. It's their choice of what tool you want to use the contract, right?
So we have multiple programs. We have the UCAP. We participate part of the UCAP state program, in which the rules still apply. What it is with the UCAP, vendors can apply to become part of our program, and they become part of our pool when we have a project such as this. We send it out to them, and they have the privilege of being in this UCAP list to be selected from that list. However, the rules still apply that if it's a lowest bid, we still have to apply the lowest bid by law. So that still applies. It's just they just have the selective. We have the capacity to select from that list, which could be, and we reach out a lot to the local vendors to make sure that that list includes a lot of local vendors. The other thing that I do want to mention to you as well, which we looked at the presentation today, is sometimes hiring a local vendor doesn't mean that they have local workers working for them. And that's the data that we saw today. Some of the data that we saw today, sometimes we hire a non-local vendor, and they have a significantly higher increase percentage of local hires, people that work for them in this region that we're paying to, but the vendor is out of the area. In other instances, we have local vendors where the percentage of hires are lower than those outside the area because they bring people from the outside as well. So just something to keep in mind as you work with the board policy. That's something that we talked about today at the Board Finance Committee as well.
My last comment, and I get that, but that's generally for the bigger projects. The smaller projects, because I thought what we said is our intent was after we perfected the large constructions, that we were going to try to get more local participation in our smaller contracts, because the smaller guys are going to be local. The big guys move in and they open. So on a small contract like this, is liable to be, one of our, somebody that lives in the community, because we kept saying that we want the more frequently in our community. We had $90 million of our bond fund go to other counties, and that's what sparked the whole idea of getting the local preference going, because if the folks aren't going into restaurants and all of those things, our students are gonna have jobs to cover. So I just want to keep pressing on the idea of, like, because I pay the tax. Like, and I look at it every time I pay my property tax, that I want the dollars to stay in my community. I don't want them to drive over places that already got money. So I'm gonna keep pressing y'all, and I'm asking y'all to local preference is the preference, like, for this one vote here.
So Trustee Versa and then Trustee Reyes.
Well, what I'm hearing is we did ask local vendors to bid.
We did.
And of the 2 that bid that were local, of the 9 you received, right? 1 didn't do it properly. And the other one bid almost double the low bid.
Correct.
Without having to bring people from Long Beach.
Correct.
Or Glendale or Monrovia.
Correct.
So it looks like we're trying, but it also looks like local people maybe aren't so in touch with what pricing should be if 3 other places were that much lower. And I don't know where they actually fell on the scale. I know that we do training with them and everything, but we are talking lowest qualified bidder, not just lowest bidder. And,
Second most
yeah,
expensive.
they were the second. When they're not bringing and mobilizing and doing the logistics for people coming from Long Beach.
Correct.
So it sounds like we're trying. I don't know if they're hearing us that pricing should be reasonable.
No one said working in your community was going to be easy or cheap, but more affluent communities tend to have more projects, so when you can scale, you can charge less. So that's it.
You, Trustee Reyes?
Well, you know, I'm very passionate about this. I agree with Trustee Williams. Not getting individuals that qualify for this. I know there's a complicated process here. Jose, you did a good job in explaining, but I'm still frustrated as well. We need to make sure, as Trustee Barisal says, we need to perhaps educate the people, because if we're going to continue to do this, and I'm going to be more vocal in regards to the people that we're selecting, the people that are in charge, to make sure that they educate, not that we must do a better job. Because see, what people don't is we're out in the community and they'll ask us questions. A good example is Trustee Williams and I were at a location for a company or a firm that had not been given an opportunity. And Jose, I talked to you about this, but I think I need to make it public because that's frustrating for us. And then it was explained to why it didn't happen. But the average, that's why we have some of these people coming here talking to us. Perhaps they don't understand it. We don't understand it. We're not communicating. We want to do a better job. But I do. I'm going to be looking at this, and I don't want to be calling out every time, why was this company not hired? If it's local, if it's the lower bidder, whatever it is. Do a better job. We have to do a better job. If they're not understanding that, then we have to think of ways. Because I want to give our people an opportunity to say, I was not selected, but I want them to know that we did everything we could. It's on them, not on us. But sometimes some people say it's on us. And I don't want that. I don't want that. And we bring in a lot of money. And I work very hard to try to get federal grants for this district. And we have to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to do that. And I, for one, our region, we get shortchanged on a lot of stuff. So I agree with Trustee Williams, because we were at a function, and he and I can tell you that we were going to have to set up a meeting with you, Jose, to make sure that we work together. What can we do? I don't care if we're number one in terms of the renewable this and renewable that, and we have the best person, but if they don't understand certain things, then we're not doing something wrong. Maybe we're not doing something right. So we need to get other people that can help us.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion and a second.
I really want to go back out. But go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, so we have, the motion is by you. Do you want to continue your motion?
I don't want to move the item. I really would want to go back out and search for more companies. I want to go local. I don't want to move. I've moved it for the discussion.
For the discussion purposes. So you withdraw your motion.
Yeah, so how do I want to rebid this? How do I do, what will be the impact if we rebid this?
You have to, as a board, you'll have to reject this. You have to vote nay on it. And then.
What's the impact, though? I understand the process. What's the impact?
There's timing. There's implications with the city of San Bernardino. The property, it is not in good condition. There are citations that we're getting regularly, every single week, pretty much. And until we get this demolished, those citations will continue.
From the city?
From the city of San Bernardino. That is correct.
Jose, if you don't call them, no.
That is correct.
So you withdrew your motion.
Yeah, I don't want to move the item. I don't want to, I just want to, again, express the interest in local participation. And if we can really, if we bring back the contractor's assistance program, then I don't know if y'all still do that.
But so we can entertain a new motion.
Yes, somebody Move, please.
I move approval.
So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And we have a motion and a second. Discussion, no further discussion. Hearing none, we'll call for the roll call vote at this time then. Student trustee Lee? Aye. Student trustee Ruiz Martinez?
Aye.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Aye.
Trustee Harrison?
Aye.
Trustee Longville?
Aye.
Trustee Reyes?
Reluctantly, yeah.
Trustee Vericel?
Aye.
Trustee Williams?
No.
And the chair votes aye. So at this time, we'll move on to our reports. So
Real
we're gonna.
quick, Chair, may I?
Yes.
I just wanted, this was on the previous section of the consent calendar, but I wanted to thank my colleagues at the City of Redlands and the Redlands Fire Department for the gift of the 2002 fire apparatus to the Crafton Hills College Fire Program.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to move then to reports, which is section 8, and we start with our board committee and activity reports. So Trustee Gonzalez, you're up first with Board Finance Committee.
All right. We had a very interesting meeting today that went over the workforce report. Actually, some of that was sort of alluded to earlier. So it was an interesting presentation that outlined how the district is meeting Board Policy 6610 regarding local businesses. There are 14 projects that were reported on, including 132 local construction contractors, $1.4 million to local workers, and contracts with local construction professional services companies in the amount of $163 million. And just for a couple of examples, we are at a goal of 25% for local businesses. We're at 40. In terms of hours worked, for local hires, the goal was 50%, we're at 62. For worker payment, the goal was 50%, we're at 62. And local business payment, our goal was 25%, we're at 40. So things are going very well there. We also had a presentation briefly on enrollment, which is of course a very important topic. We're looking at right now 7,765, which is 58% of our target for this academic year, which is great because we're only one semester in. So at 58%, looks very promising that we will hopefully exceed this year's enrollment target. Our commercial properties are at 86% of capacity. That's the 3 buildings that we own right here. And the PARS Pension Rate Stabilization Trust Account is continuing to perform. Of over $17 million since inception in 2016. And that's my report.
Thank you. Next up is our Board Legislative Committee, so I'll move it to Trustee Reyes.
We didn't have a meeting, but we had plenty of work to do. We talked last time about how can we become more effective from the legislative process. I'm very fortunate that I know some people up there in Sacramento. I'm going to recommend that, and I talked to Angel, we took the comments that Board Harrison made in regards to bringing people from Sacramento to come down here. Perhaps having a hearing from the chair of the committee. I attended a hearing that Assemblywoman Reyes and Ramos had on homelessness, and it was very well informed, very well educated, and they came out with some great ideas. And that's how the county's gonna move. They're listening, they took notes, they go back, they give a report. I know the chair of the higher education for the Assembly very well, a former board member for the Los Angeles Community College. I've asked him, and he's willing to come down. And we've had some hearings here before. I remember, I don't know, John, remember when we had George Brown and Jerry Lewis do a hearing here. And that's what we need to do. And perhaps they can inform us of questions that we may have. But I'm gonna bring it up to them. They're off session now. They go back to the district, so it would be a lot easier now for them to come, possibly. So I'm gonna request that so that we can put together, our committee can put together good questions that we can ask, because this impacts not only the community college, but anything they do with higher education. So I think if we can get the chair to agree with this, I think it will be very well informed as to what direction and what the outcome could be for the next academic year. So that's my plan, working with the other members of my committee, Longville and Vericel.
Thank you. Next up is our Board Policy and Procedures Ad Hoc Committee. Dr. Gonzalez?
Well, we had a meeting of email that said the suggested changes to the board policy as we reviewed them were appropriate. That is the extent of our meeting in the last month.
Okay, thank you. On to regional and state reports from our Board of Trustees and Trustee Williams, Board of Governors.
First, I want to apologize to our chair and to the trustees. Last meeting, I spoke out of order. I wasn't really paying attention and spoke at a turn that I wasn't, and it was a really, I get into but I want to apologize to the chair and the board for last meeting. And so the Board of Governors is going to meet on the 25th and 26th of this month. And please pay attention to the agenda. They're considering a final read on a regulatory change that the intent is to reduce the paperwork burden on parents and students enrolling in dual enrollment programs. Currently, if you're a high school student and you're attending a community college class at your high school, every semester you have to complete the paperwork all over again. And so the regulatory change is going to say that one parent signature is all that's needed, and then you don't even have to collect Social Security numbers for students. And so it causes a great deal of paperwork and time trying to get signatures from parents and from students. And so hopefully the BOG will pass this policy on Monday. And so that'll affect all districts. And so as we're going into semester 2 of the dual enrollment programs, if we can timely adjust whatever local policies we need to so that, students are not burdened with having to turn in additional paperwork when the rules change. I know it's a timing kind of issue, but if folks can think proactively about it and how we can, there's a bunch of other items on the Board of Governors, but again, as we are thinking about advocacy or topics that should be discussed at the statewide level, please let's talk about them. And that's all that I have.
Turn myself off. Dr. Vericel for Women's Caucus.
Women's Caucus has no report, but if I could beg the indulgence of the chair, I just wanted to thank Valley College and KVCR. They sent 6-7 students to the Association of California Symphony Orchestras, you know about this, conference that was held in the Inland Empire for the first time ever in its 54 years of being held. And it was the first time, and my little orchestra got to be the host orchestra. But what I wanted to say was these students were so incredibly well prepared. They had questions. They had practiced introducing themselves. Some of the best I don't know Tatiana's last name, but Tatiana has the best introduction of anyone, and she had questions for every single person in there. And I got compliments from industry folks from throughout the state about how fantastic our students were at this conference. And there were a lot of students there, and I did not hear anybody else talking about them.
Can I follow up with just how effective we are in this district? I also say that we're very proud. We've taken students to Washington, D.C., and I can honestly tell you that they're very articulate. They're very professional. So when we talk about a district that is, some people are saying, well, we're not doing this. It takes money to be able to send students to conferences. But when they come back, I can actually have our students come and present something, and we would be so proud and impressed of what they're learning, not only whatever their subject areas, but public speaking and presenting. We should be very proud. And I think those are the positive things that we need to continue to focus on. And I want to compliment our chancellor and her team for doing that. Not the other things that are being asked or told about different things. I guarantee you, we can get a lot of students to come to this meeting and talk about all the great things that they're learning, and it will be like, oh my God, I didn't realize how positive they are. So I want to compliment our students. Let's continue to be positive. We're not perfect. No college district is perfect, but I think we still have one of the best community college district in the state.
Thank you. I agree. We're on to the Joint Powers Authority report, and I am the representative to the San Bernardino Regional Emergency Training Center. We did not have a meeting this month, so I have no report. With that, I'll toss it over to the Chancellor for her report.
Thank you. So, well, good evening, everyone. The fall semester, as we know, is well on its way, so I just have a few important updates that I'd like to share. You know, as you know, ever since COVID, we've been really very much concerned about our enrollment. In fact, that has been our number one priority over the last year, I would say. I am proud to say that we do have good news here. Our student head count has risen by 20%. So we now serve just over 18,300 students, up from 15,300 plus students last year. So just big kudos to everyone who reached out and touched students to help them enroll, who advised them into their classes, who spent hours in the classroom with their students. I think that all of you just deserve a huge round of applause for your work there. So thank you so much for all of that. We're on the right track. We still have a ways to go, but things are looking really good, so thank you for that. Also this September, we're celebrating National Hispanic Heritage Month and showing our commitment to diversity and inclusion. This week, we recognize HSI Week, the federal recognition given to colleges and universities that serve at least 25% of Latino populations at their institutions. So although we welcome all students regardless of their backgrounds, this week is an opportunity to reflect on our commitment and support to every student. It's also a time to celebrate the unique cultures and positive contributions of the community. So more good news. I want to say congratulations to Officer James Quigley, who was recently named SBCCD's Officer of the Year. So congratulations, Officer Quigley. We appreciate you. I'd also like to take a minute to recognize the vision and the leadership of our Board of Trustees. Today, they approved an item that prioritizes part-time faculty health insurance as a top legislative advocacy priority to our district. That is a very bold and huge step for the state of California. So thank you all for approving that. And Trustee Williams, we hear you, and we will get you a timeline of the sequence of events that we plan for our advocacy. And finally, I just want to say thank you for all of the birthday well wishes, the text, the phone calls, not the ones at 5 a.m. though. You know who you are, you're in this room. But I do appreciate all of the support and all that. So thank you so much. It was a fantastic birthday. And that's the end of my report.
Does it count that we had a meeting phone call at 6 a.m. on your birthday?
That was at 6, not
That was
5.
okay? Okay.
Yeah, so that was good,
All
yeah.
right. That is a true statement, by the way. It's kind of the way it works. Okay, so now we are on to our represented groups, and first up is our San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate.
Board, Chancellor Rodriguez, Chair Houston, and trustees. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do a quick update today. I do not have a written copy for you yet, but I promise you by end of night, it will get to Stacy. So I'm sorry for that, but I'm not sorry. It's indicative of the time of year that we're in. That being said, what you will find in the report, in the written report, is a lengthy introduction and conversation around ZTC and OER. And how it impacts, you ask about policy. How do we deal with policy? What kind of policy things should we be thinking about? And the campus, not the campus, the district and the board has supported policy of providing financial support for our Books Plus program, which by all accounts has obliterated the cost of textbooks for our students, which is clearly a barrier. We applaud that, we support that, and our students have been extremely impacted by that. The question is sustainability. We know there's an end. An end is coming. We are blessed to have had it this year. Didn't really expect it, and it came. But the end is coming. So the report is going to address some of the work that the state is clearly has a focus on ramping up our ZTC OER work and re-emphasizing our need to dig deeper and do more for our students. And it is the most sustainable pathway to continue to eliminate that barrier for our students. So as we begin to delve into that work with the funding that is being provided by the state in the form of various grants, there's $20,000 startup planning, investigation grant, there's $180,000 with in terms of implementation, planning, and then there's a third opportunity that is due tomorrow to try to I'm not committing to what we're doing yet, but we are in the process of looking at that, and we look forward to providing updates to you and look forward to the support that we'll receive in any policy and procedure that comes forward or that we can implement to ensure that longevity. I will also want to just make a couple of quick announcements. Again, you'll see much more in the report here, but we do have a faculty art exhibit going on right now on our campus. And I say that backed up by, we also have a faculty, so that's ongoing in our right now. But we also have a faculty recital. And it was made known, it is faculty level performance. So we have wonderful faculty in the music department across our campus, and we would love to have you come by. That's Friday at 7 p.m. I believe it's in our MAC. But that will be in the written report as to where that's going to be. I welcome you. Come see us. Thank you.
Trustee Williams just has a comment.
Yeah, regarding two things. So thank you, Chancellor and Dr. Fontanella and all of the folks that got the bird put back up at the Gresham Center. That was a big thing to have the bird gone, and then so folks were really. But on Monday at the Board of Governors, the final read of a resolution that's asking the Chancellor to work with the faculty to come up with a solution to provide general education textbooks to students upon enrollment. And so getting feedback from local districts on, hey, is that the right direction? What do you all think? The goal is not that the textbooks are gonna be free, but available to students who are taking general education courses. And so thinking about, like, is that a cheaper way to continue Books Plus, because it's only general education courses. And so the mechanism on how they're gonna get the books, we don't know how that is gonna work, whether it's in a ZTC format or, really a physical format. Like, all we're asking is, like, make the book available to the student when they enroll. And so, feedback would be super appreciative. So on Monday, the BOG will vote. It's the final read of the resolution that's asking the Chancellor to work with the faculty to come back with a recommendation.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry. And so are you asking that of the faculty body then, or are you asking for a conversation to be had and connecting with the Chancellor, just so I understand?
Yeah,
I hear a question there.
The Chancellor, whatever is appropriate, or how, because this is gonna affect all districts if they do this. And so just what do y'all, what should we be thinking about? That's pretty much it. And then what's our solution for Books Plus when the COVID funds run out? course is a cheaper way to do it, because now you're not buying as many books. What is our solution locally? This is all being spearheaded because you're among the first to do this kind of thing. And so, hopefully you help shape where the state goes.
Ms. Nekach, would you please schedule a meeting with Ms. Burns, myself, and Mr. Torres? Thank you.
Could I ask that the other academic senate president be involved as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you. And what I'm hearing is we have a voice at the table. We have some experience. Let's connect the two. Okay. On to now our San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. This evening, I'd just like to report out that we've had some successes over the summer attending the classified leadership. Some objectives that we'll be part of on the state level. We're also have taken part in the activities occurring on campus as a classified senate and classified members that are part of the various committees and the constituent groups and the vested partners to actually build the excitement to come back to college, to expand your learning horizons. It is calling upon to gain some interest, to get that excitement of seeing yourself back as part of the educational institution of the San Bernardino Community College District. With that, we're also, through 4CS, we're having a classified leadership network meeting in Riverside on October 5th. What we're looking in that is, we're part of Region 9 for classified professionals, and within that region, a lot of us are we're going to be discussing in ways of how classified professionals can specifically address some of the issues towards student success, student retention, and also increased student enrollment. There is an understanding within the region that some of the schools may be competing with each other to get the students. And we're also looking at how we can work together as a team for the benefit of this whole region, which is specifically good for this district because within a few, let's say, 30, 45-minute drive, we touch various other community colleges. So we're reaching out to work as a team to kind of boost the energy of this whole region, to get students enticed to come back, to identify with the area that I think suggest is part of the learning process of going through community college. Building those ties to the college and the community will also them in the future to invest in this community, which may take away from some of that drain that we're seeing as classified professionals that is occurring. We want to find ways to not educate the students to leave this area, but what can we do from their first day, their first experience in the community college, to think of graduating from this region, starting a business in this region, and staying in this region to support their families and better the area.
Your turn is complete.
Thank you. Moving on to San Bernardino Valley College Associated Students.
No report. But Madam Chair, can I make a comment?
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on something that Ms. Davina Burns-Peterson mentioned to many students currently. It is at the end of Books Plus, and that is something that many students currently are grappling with, and it is behind our thought process specifically when it comes to if we're going to enroll in the next this next academic year. Both me and Nelva, who is the president of the Associated Student Government, we also do sit at the Student Center for California Community Colleges, and this is a topic that we have also brought up to the state level to really make sure that it is something that we do need support on. It's something that we definitely need to move on. And I just want to say big thanks to also Trustee Williams, who I know has been very dedicated and pushing for affordable books. So just wanted to make a comment to put that on the record.
Thank you. Moving on to Crafton Hills College Academic Senate.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Meredith McLaren. I am the Academic Senate President from Crafton Hills College. I just have a few things to go through. Since we're still new, early in the semester, we're still just kind of getting ramped up. The first thing I did want to mention is that we did have 29 full and part-time faculty participate in the USC equity training again. It was a second cohort. We had a cohort last year go through, and then a second cohort has gone through again. And so this is just our continuing efforts towards equity and accessibility and student success on the campus. We had a fabulous transfer fair yesterday, and I know Kevin will talk more about that in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of focus on the faculty part. It definitely showcased the dedication of faculty, staff, and administration, definitely working to help students succeed. But I just wanted to point out that faculty downloaded the flyers into their Canvas shells. They did all sorts of things to get this information out to faculty. Some of the faculty walked their students up to the transfer fair to help them, get up there and participate. We had faculty who hosted discussions, and they brought food for them. And so we had talked to quite a few faculty who just enjoyed their time going up there, talking with current students, talking with former students, and just sitting down and eating and having a conversation. So it's been one of the great things about having students back on campus is to do these kind of activities. And I know it was successful. I saw the number of people. I also know it was successful because when I went out to get a taco, they were all gone, right? So I know it was sad for me, but it was a really good thing, a good sign for the fair. So the only other Senate business stuff is that we will be continuing to address course caps. I think this is something that we have to continue to have this conversation with the faculty and the administration to find that balance between how many students can we teach and still meet our equity goals and still be a high quality institution to do what we need to do for these students, but still meet the financial needs of the campus and of the district. And so this is a conversation we are going to continue. And when we come to maybe some decisions or when we kind of get to a place where we are discussing this, then we can bring this back to give you more information. Just one quick thing, I do have a few things. Any program that will support students and reduce the textbook costs, I fully am supportive of that. But I do have a few things. So at some point I would probably have maybe they need to be aware of that are unique sometimes with a campus, with a college campus. So I think it's a great program. I would really like to hear more and talk with you. But I do have a few things just to maybe take forward and keep in mind. The other thing, the last thing I have for you, I got time, is a challenge. It's a challenge for you as a board. We've been, using this little form here to talk about how our work on the campus supports your goals as a board. And so my challenge to you for this year is for you to consider our educational master plans and the goals in our educational master plans when you are making your decisions. I would like to periodically hear how
Your turn is complete.
how your decisions as a board support our goals on the campuses and our EMPs. So I think it's just, it's the reverse of this. We are happy to do this for you, and I would like you just in the course of the next year, my challenge to you is to think about this when you are in your committees and making your decisions, looking at our goals and how it responds to those. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We're on to Crafton Hills College, Classified Senate.
Hello, everyone. I'm Karen Peterson, the president of the Crafton Hills College Classified Senate. I'm very happy to see all of you tonight. Just a few things. I'm very pleased to announce that we have filled our vice president spot. Now we officially have a full Senate, and it's the first time in a number of years that we've had no vacancies on our Senate. I'm very excited about this. And it's also very exciting that we have a lot of fresh faces, probably partly because I haven't told them all exactly what they were getting into. But, that's okay. They're there, and they'll find out later. And we've also filled all of our committee assignments, I think, except for one. So it's really great to see so many new people participating and getting involved at the district level and on the campus, attending events. We had, at the One Book, One College kickoff the other day, we had several classified members were able to attend that and participate, and it was great to see. And so we're just really trying to spend more time out on the campus, and we really appreciate that our administrators are making that more possible. So thank you. And we do have a lot of work to do as a Senate, but we have some really excited people, and I know good things are happening. We're working with the Student Senate and the Academic Senate, and also with the union and with our counterparts at Valley. And I also just wanted to faculty and to the students as well that we as classified professionals also care about the cost of textbooks, and we are happy to lend our voices to those conversations where we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Crafton Hills College Associated Students.
Good evening, trustees. My name is Nikki Barr. I'm Senator at Large for Student Senate at Crafton Hills College. And the noteworthy accomplishment to help Crafton continue to be a diverse institution, the Student Senate worked with the campus Hispanic Heritage Committee at the University Transfer Center, and the University Transfer Center to provide DJ for University Transfer Center Fair yesterday, September 13th. The Senate will also be collaborating with the counseling department to invite students who have completed a certain number of units to attend for. And the Student Senate will be partnering with the Career and Student Accessibility Centers for the upcoming Hello Major, Hello Career Fair on October 18th. We will be providing a free food truck to help draw students to the event. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'm just going to go ahead and add to that as well. To tap up on advocacy, we actually, in Riverside, the Student Senate for California Community Colleges are actually going to have the advocacy workshop that's going to be in downtown Riverside. And I know both campuses are going to be sending students to that, so we're excited about that to get them fired up on advocacy. And one of the major topics, as student trustee from Valley had mentioned, was the textbooks. That is definitely on our radar of our legislative affairs vice president. I've actually been working with her a little bit, and some of the legislators, and we're actually trying to tackle that.
Thank you. Next, we have CSEA.
Hi, me again. I'm here as the political action coordinator for CSEA. Casey couldn't be here today, but I did want to comment and report about a couple of things that I've been working on as political action. First of all, I'm also delegate for the Inland Empire Labor Council. So I represent CSEA on the IE Labor Council, and we're going to be having a gala, the first of its kind, to talk about some of the local labor history and share with the region about the successes that the Labor Council has had from bringing labor together, particularly, on the fronts of organizing and unionizing folks who are ununionized, and of course also on electing good quality leaders in our region to support labor. So I want to thank Joseph for bringing up those comments about the local hiring, and also Mr. Longville for extending the time of public comment. Like, these are things that we look at when we're considering, endorsements from labor, and we want to see an open dialogue with community. And that's what that looks like when we see questions that support labor issues and the encouraging of public comment instead of the discouraging of public comment. And then CSEA is going to be hosting a para-educator conference in Ontario in March of 2024. And so I'm going to be directly involved with the organizing of that conference and talking about some of the good things that are happening in the district, like the new CTE building and how that correlates with environmental justice movements. Someone was talking earlier under public comment about air quality, and we, of course, have a strong coalition that believes in the idea of having good, thriving wage jobs and clean air, that we don't have to pick one or the other, that we can have both. And I'm also participating in something called the California Economic Resiliency Fund, or SURF. You're going to see a name change with that happening. It's locally going to be called Thrive. And this is some funding coming from the state of California, one-time funding to address economic situations in the Inland Empire. We have a surf table Bernardino and Riverside counties. And a part of that work is a data committee, a labor and sector committee, an equity committee, a committee for tribal and native peoples. And there's going to be funding distributed through that body that will hopefully benefit the entire region. And we're hoping to see, of course, community colleges represented in that decision-making and in those projects. And also there's a tie to future funding. So we hope to be able to create a process that'll be used for future funding. And then the last thing I just wanted to say was when we're thinking about some of the economic things that we're talking about here at the district, we asked you to consider that IE is outpacing Los Angeles, Orange County, the state, and the country in inflation for the local region. So we're talking about housing, energy, all those things. We are outpacing everybody else in terms of inflation. So thank you.
Trustee Williams?
Mary made me just think, I think like future topics or strategy sessions or whatever is appropriate, but like so that the board can get education on what SURF is and like some of the HRTP work that's happening, because the district is really leading a large high road training partnership project. And I also like to have a future conversation about the actual building, the CTE building, because it's going to be a jewel for this region. And so I really want to be able to talk about like, well, what is it going to look like? What's the art that could be outside, and the environmental advocacy stuff, like, because the building it's going to be, I keep saying it's the skill development help. So, but can we have a conversation about the building sometime soon, y'all, please? like in the board, like I don't want to come to a committee. I want to come to the full board and do it. Because what you're talking about is important, and that like if you're sitting in some of these other funding table meetings, like there's a lot of aligned conversation that's happening that are, would be beneficial to what we're constructing. It's good stuff. It's positive. It's positive.
So can I respond to that just really quickly? There was a meeting on campus where the EPA came to campus to talk about some of these issues, and we recently had an environmental justice conference at the Riverside. A lot of the same people were also talking about these issues, and both times our building was mentioned as something people are excited about, they want to learn more about, and they want to see. So I would love to see that happen and invite some guests in.
Yeah, this is what I've been talking about. This is Justice 40. I mean, talking about monies that are out there in from the federal perspective. You're talking about the Department of Energy. You're talking about the Department of all that. So we're in it, but we need to be more involved. Perhaps as a board, but a real good job in regards to that. What we need to advocate to make sure, I keep repeating myself. Remember I mentioned to you that the historically black colleges are getting like billions of dollars for infrastructure improvement, Hispanic serving institutions, that's what we're leading. So this is not necessarily new. What we need to do is we need to work together so that we can get those funds to help the entire, not only our district, but this is through the entire country. We're asking for $2 billion for infrastructure, and our students that I've talked about, they were part of this conversation. It's exciting. We're doing it, Joseph. We're doing it, but we need to finish the line. And I tell you that the chancellor was just invited to go to a conversation back in Washington, D.C. to talk about those things. So this is Mrs. White, when she spoke earlier, is working together. Working together. Faculty, CSEA, teachers, we're here for the students. And I believe that some of our faculty members are doing a good job. But we all need to do that. We're talking about, well, we should be doing that. It's already there. It's already there. Biden's already committed 40% of whatever the federal agencies, the Department of Labor, the Department of Commerce, the Department of, is anybody doing anything like that? We're having discussions that are important to us and our faculty and our students, but we need to finish the line. So I know that our chairperson has been involved. I was just impressed, even this afternoon, that they brought in the Department of, they're going to bring in the Secretary of Transportation. Do you know how much money, how much billions of dollars the Department of Transportation has? I mean, this is incredible.
$600 billion.
Exactly. And they're talking about underserved communities. We are underserved communities. So we need to just work together instead of arguing one of this and one of this. Let's work together because we're here for the students. Now, we'll always be adamant about helping our students and our faculty, of course. But, you know, we need to come together.
Thank you. It is your turn.
Perfect segue.
I yield.
Perfect segue. That's what I'm here to tell you. My name's Richard Jaramillo, for those of you who don't know me. I'm an automotive repair instructor, San Bernardino Valley College, been there 25 years. Seen a lot of change. I'm just here to tell you that you've seen passionate people come up and talk about our part-time faculty. One of the things that you forgot to mention when our students did such a KVCR was they had faculty that taught them and they led them and they prepared them, right? So it's a team, it's a community that have to come together to work together. I can tell you that we're here to work with you, and we've been here, and we feel that we've done that. We started talking about AB 190 over a year ago in preparation to get the ball rolling because we knew it's going to be a bunch of work. And we're still working on it. We will still work towards it because we know it's going to benefit the college, the students, and the community. When we have people that are healthy and are taken care of and they are felt wanted, it's going to be an improvement with the whole community and the whole district. So I'm here to tell you that you all give direction to your negotiating team, I'm sure. So if you want to see what's been on the table, we don't hide anything. It's all on your website. You can see what we propose. You can see what you propose. You can see what we declined. You can see what you declined. There's no hidden message here. It's all in the open. And we believe that what we put out there is fair and equitable. And that's all we ask. So if I know some of you had said, well, we haven't heard from the faculty. Well, you heard from faculty today, and I can tell you my extension's 80. You want to talk to faculty, I won't negotiate with you, but I can talk to you. I've been there quite a bit. I've seen quite a lot. And I can tell you what the climate is of our school. Don't know CHC, but you know what? It would be a good time to put out a climate survey to all faculty so you as a board can see how they're feeling. What do they like? You know, what are they thinking about? And ask those questions that's going to give you that information so they can provide you input. Get right from the mouth of the faculty. And that's all I ask you. And I just want to say that we always put students first, and we know the importance of student success. Believe me, I don't work here because of the money. I work here for the students. I was one of those students. So it's a part of my heart. And that's why you see faculty that are passionate on subjects that have to do with their courses, their class, and how it affects their teaching. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Police Officers Association. I see there's no report. Okay. So we are on to our staff reports. So San Bernardino Valley College President.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Chancellor Rodriguez. Thank you so much for acknowledging the talent of our students, Trustee Verso. I appreciate that. I'm so proud to be working with the staff and faculty and administrators at Valley College who are doing a fantastic job, I feel, as far as student success. I want to say congratulations to our faculty, the members of the instruction division led by Dr. Humble, who recently resubmitted our application for the BA degree in water resource management. We received some feedback from the Chancellor's Office and ACCJC on that application, and over a week ago, we resubmitted it, so we hope in the next coming months we will hear something really great about that. And also, Chancellor, thank you for acknowledging the great job that the colleges are doing on the enrollment. We've been working really hard this morning as we talked about our enrollment management. We noticed that we were 13% increase year over date at Valley College. We have 190 students over our goal right now. However, we know that the devil is in the details, and the details is keeping the students in class. And so we are continuing to look at our strategies in both in the classroom and outreach in our student success programs to make sure we are doing everything we can to keep those students, because it's much easier to keep them, as we know, to go out and get new ones. In recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month, I'd like to thank Dean Carmen Rodriguez, who led faculty and staff in a wonderful resource fair yesterday. We had over 400 students at the fair, and there were a number of student services and faculty services programs out giving information to students on how to be successful and how to access resources and stay in school. And I would say that they had plenty of tacos. I know because I went and I had 3, and they were very good. We are also going to have on September 20th something that's a symposium, and I understand that's a first for Valley College. And even though I don't eat extremely hot food, I have volunteered to be a judge. So I will probably suffer later on that day, but I'm looking forward to that. And I know there's going to also be another resource fair for students, and there will be lots of information given out to the students. This is going to be hosted by Student Equity, the Latinx faculty staff and association, and also the Arts and Lecture Diversity Club. So that is going to be a fabulous event also. And we look forward to the faculty recital tomorrow. I plan to attend, so I know it will be a great event. I did start my open forums that I had indicated that I wanted to start. Last week I held the first one. They are entitled, My Campus, My Culture, and My Community. I've invited the affinity groups to come visit with me. As indicated, an open forum to talk about changes they wish to see on the campus, what they think is going well, where they think we need improvements, how I can help them obtain resources to do their jobs better. We had a great meeting with the Black faculty and staff last week, and I look forward to the others. There will be 2 in October, and 2 in October and 1 in November. I expected maybe 2 people to show up, and 30 people showed up. It was a wonderful time. We laughed, we cried, and we had honest, intentional dialogue supporting both your goal, number 2, and our student equity goals, as well as our educational master plan goals. So I felt very good about that, and I look forward to the other ones. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Crafton Hills College President.
Well, since Dr. Fontanella needed to talk about numbers, I'll share some numbers too. I'm just kidding. Actually, they outdid us this time. So I just want to talk about a little bit about our transfer fare. So our numbers are up. We're 12% over this time last year. We're 7% above our goal for the fall. And you can see it on a daily basis. It is, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it's fantastic to see people fighting over parking spaces again. It is a joy to see the energy at events like at our transfer fair yesterday. Meredith must have been 401 in line because we gave away 400 plates of tacos yesterday. I really want to thank Mariana McAmey, who's our director of the Transfer Center coordinator. She worked with a team of faculty and classified professionals, and it was an outstanding event. I was told for the first time we had 0 no-shows from universities show up. We had 32 universities and colleges there to meet with our students, and it was just an outstanding event. I also want to thank our constituency leaders right now have that same energy going with their senates too. Angie Ocampo, who's our student senate president, Karen Peterson, who's our classified senate president, and Meredith McLaren, who's our academic senate president. They're doing an amazing job at getting engagement again on the campus. I really want to call out, though, Karen Peterson. For the first time, I walked by a room and I was confused why all these people were in the room because there were so many people in attendance, and it was the classified Senate meeting. And I have not seen that before. And so Karen, your leadership is doing an amazing job. Thank you. Congratulate Larry Cook, who, Diana, you acknowledged, is retiring in December. Larry's been with us formally as the director for 13 years, but before that, he was a superintendent on construction jobs at the campus. So he's actually been on campus probably closer to 20 years, Mike? Is that about right? Yeah, and his fingerprints are all over the campus, and he did an amazing job at bringing to the forefront standards in our projects and streamlining the way that we service our buildings. And his legacy is going to be felt for a long time. There's a lot of knowledge going out that door, and he will be missed. He will continue being an active member of the San Bernardino County Search and Rescue Team. So if you see him in that capacity, I'm sorry. And lastly, I just want to inform the board, I can't remember if I mentioned this before, but I was appointed by the CEO group to represent the CEOs on a new task force for the State Chancellor's Office called the Working Learner Group, which is addressing three major areas. One is the attendance accounting methods that we calculate our apportionment for throughout the state, credit for prior learning, and how to scale best practices in equity and success support and access. And I want to acknowledge Diami Ruiz-Martinez. He is also on the committee as representative from the statewide student senate, and John Stanskis, who's now being loaned out to the chancellor's office, is on the committee as well. So we're 3 strong from SBCCD on that committee, and Diami's doing a great job representing students as well. So that's my report.
Thank you. It's great. Executive Vice Chancellor.
I have a quick update for you, and mostly invitations and a thanks as well. First of all, I want to thank you for approving the budget. It's nothing more pleasing than having the budget approved and at the conclusion of 10 months of work. I do, again, you, the Chancellor, the Presidents, and the Vice Chancellors for working with me, but especially three different people, 3 different groups of people. One of them, the Board Finance Committee. The other one is the District Budget Advisory Committee. And third, my staff, Larry and Jorge, who are there. These 3 groups do a lot of work at make sure that the budget is very transparent, making sure that everyone is aware of what's going on from the beginning of the implementation of the budget. There's and you all are the ones that do the work. I'm just a pretty face presenting it. But I think that makes the entire budget process so much different from what it used to be when I first got here. And some of you might remember how it used to be, the budget process, but it is tremendous. And those processes, those work groups that you all created, is just a tremendous additional to the process. That you have an invitation, that you know that is happening. KVCR, as you might remember, received a grant from Cielo Fund from the IACF. KVCR is being recognized as a grantee this Saturday, San Bernardino. If you want to come, please let Angel know. I'm pretty sure he'll set a spot for you. Also, the next Thursday, September 21st at 6 p.m., we have the premiere of Learn With Me at the Rancho Cucamonga new Lewis Family Playhouse. We hope that you can come. If you come, please let us know as well. We'll make sure that we have a seat for you as well. And the last invitation that I have for you is to tune into KVCR Channel 24 every Friday at 6 p.m. Inland Edition is up and running on TV, not just radio, but on TV. You ask for news, you ask for local events, you ask for different things. So this is the first attempt to get you partially of what you asked for. So please tune in every Friday, 6 p.m. Thank you. That's my report.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I just make a quick comment because it's still important? Jose, thank you so much for taking the leadership specifically on KVCR. And Connie, thank you so much for being the director. I've heard very positive things. As a matter of fact, now most of the people that really can help us in terms of our elected officials that have come in, you're doing some interviews with them and then the business community. So there's been a transformation in regards to what KVCR is doing. I remember when there was a report, we were always in the red, and I was getting tired. My retirement plan was going to be impacted, so I figured I better do something about that. But anyway, now we're in the black, and so that compliment goes to you, Jose, and to the chancellor, and to, of course, Connie. Connie is, she's a superstar here. You hear about singers that are going to go. What's the famous? Because I don't follow concerts. I don't like to go to concerts. Sorry, I'm sorry. But anyway, but I would support you. But the lady that is very famous. Well, Connie is comparable to that. She's the person that's bringing people together. And as a matter of fact, today I got a call from someone who's very wealthy, who wants to be part of the discussions with Connie Leyva when it comes to KVCR. Those are the good partnerships that we develop. So thanks our team for doing a good job.
We'll be more than happy to take anyone's money. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving on to Vice Chancellor of Human Resources and Police Services.
Thank you. I will be brief with my comments. First, I wanted to clarify some of the information that was presented today. Yes, we do have a current plan for our part-time faculty, and it does include the family, but we do understand that it is not a desirable. We're working on addressing that with our carriers. And as Richard noted, we have been posting the proposals online, and the most recent proposal does include a reimbursement plan for part-time faculty that is similar to the plan that Caleb discussed earlier. I also wanted to point out that there are 117 community college districts in the state of California. Only 11 districts are able to participate at this time. That's an indicator of the complexities of AB 90 that we are trying to overcome together. Secondly, HR has been busy updating our hiring process to include the new EEO requirements from the State Chancellor's Office and the Title V regulations. We are working with both campuses on our new EEO grant that was given to us from the state to implement our best practices. More than half of our community college districts submitted proposals, and we were one of the only 12 that was selected. So this does attest to our regional and statewide leadership in many areas. We are starting to plan our new Chancellor's Leadership Academy and look forward to working with the district leadership that includes faculty, classified professionals, and our campus managers. I'm also excited to get back to my monthly meetings with our classified Senate leaders, and we had to take a break during the summer, but I'm excited to get back to that plan, and if there's anything I can do to help support the work that you're doing, John, in the region, and to support any of the work that you're doing, Karen, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And lastly, we will be restarting our refreshments with HR in October, so make sure you come out. We will be planning 3 events each quarter, 1 at each campus, because we do not want our DSO partners to feel left out. And so we will be having our refreshments with HR. I can't promise coffee, I can't promise juice, and I can't promise donuts, but we will have refreshments with HR. That concludes my report.
What's left? Once you... More tacos. Okay, so I think our Vice Chancellor of Education and Student Support Services, no report, I'm assuming she's not here. Okay, so with that, we are on to information items. So are there any questions or discussion on any of the information items? I wanted to just follow up on a couple of comments, and it would be under A, Master Calendar, Board Master Action Planning Calendar. And when Trustee Williams is talking about items or elements to put into a study session or to put into our retreats or to have on a future agenda item, that would be the place to do that. So we've got a place on the agenda to make those recommendations. And then I just wanted to also say that Trustee Williams and I, along with Angel Rodriguez, had an opportunity to attend the State of the County VIP reception, and it was a really nice event to be at. We had an opportunity to network and meet with several of the workforce partners that are in, oh, and Dr. Horan as well. You were there. Sorry. Yeah, I said that, but I missed Dr. Horan. I'm sorry. I shouldn't do anything without a script. Anyway, we had an opportunity to network and meet some of the large industry partners that are coming into our community and investing into our communities, as well as leaders in our community that are also investing in our community. So it was a great opportunity for us. Just to follow up with what Trustee Reyes had mentioned about the Department of Transportation connection, in celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, and to kick it off, we've been working with Department of Transportation since we met in April in Washington, D.C. at the HAKU conference, been following up with them to provide information and opportunities for our students that are in the pipeline programs that would be coming into our college campuses. So one of the kickoff events will include the Secretary of Department of Transportation, which is, that's kind of a big deal. So we're very excited about that. And then year-long activities that will include our Department of Transportation partners from DC, engaging with students and really opening their eyes to additional opportunities that they may not have otherwise known about, government, working for Department of Transportation, and working with industry that is benefiting from the investments, $600 billion, infrastructure investments that are coming from the feds. So we have been following that up, and so I'm excited to just give you a little bit more information on that. And to comment on the SURF, we are also, meaning day job, Stephanie Houston, SBCSS, one of the regional backbone conveners for the IE SURF, so that we will be the agency convening the labor partners as well as our industry partners to address the needs. And of course, our chancellor sits on Growing Inland Achievement, which is the partner investment in SURF. So there's an investment in labor and there's an investment in education. And so she's at the planning table for that investment, and together they will be integrated to ensure that we not only have the voice from industry in terms of what the needs are for workforce, but the voice of education to ensure that we're meeting the needs, so that together we're building that pipeline for supply and demand related to the future of our region. So lots of great things happening on the SURF front as well. So I thought I might be able to give you that information as we close into or go into closed session. Okay, yes?
Well, I just want to compliment you, Chairwoman, because you can't even begin to imagine how important it is, the area of transportation to our region. It's huge. It's a huge opportunity for us. Also to talk about opportunities when it comes to grants. When you talk about inviting people, you don't invite people just to come and shake your hands and take a picture and smile and then go home. We don't believe in that. We believe in how can they do to help us bring resources. So I compliment you and, for being part of that. And your boss, Ted Alejandra, is part of our leadership with HAKU when it comes to K through 12. So we're going to advocate for this. This is what I'm saying. A lot of times people that come in here, they don't understand all the great work that we're doing in this college district. That's why we were rated. We were rated that they gave us accreditation for how many years? It doesn't come very easily. It becomes high performance. So thank you, Chairwoman. Thank you, Chancellor, for being the leaders that we are. We have a little bit of problems, but I think we can overcome that. I'm optimistic. Thank you.
So with that, I am going to announce our closed session items. We have conference with labor negotiators. We have public employee conference with labor negotiators. We have public employee discipline, dismissal, release, non-reemployment, and conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation. Conference with legal counsel existing, and public employee evaluation. Do we have any public comments for our closed session? Okay.
Madam Chair?
Yes, sir.
Before we go to closed session, I simply wanted to ask that when we return and adjourn this meeting, I would like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Addie Mae Collins, Carol Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley, the four victims of the coming 60 years ago tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with this, that at this time it is 6:41, and we will convene into closed session. Do we need a 5-minute? And so we'll just have a 5-minute bio break. Thank you. 7:38, and I will The time is 7:38, and I will reconvene the public meeting. This time we have a report of the action in closed session. Trustee Williams?
14th, 2023, the board unanimously voted with one member being absent to take action to approve a settlement of workers' comp claim 584583 with employee number 9140.
Thank you. And our next item, I'm going to hand off to Trustee Longville for our adjournment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we adjourn in memory of Addie Mae, Denise McNair, Carol Robertson, and Cynthia Wesley, the 4 young girls who were murdered by Ku Klux Klan bombers 60 years ago tomorrow at the Birmingham Baptist Church. That's a motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Without objection, this meeting is adjourned. Will be our strategy session on September the 28th, 2023 at 4 p.m. in this boardroom. The time is 7:40 and this meeting is now adjourned.